Oh my Code Ninjas, here's a little video of the activity we did, 2.03. And in Canvas, there is this Google Doc which you need to open, and you're going to add some things to it. So here's basically the deal. There is on the left a screen where the user gets to pick what size of the Captain America they want, small, medium, or large. So if they check small and hit submit, it goes to the small screen, medium, and large. Now, what we want to look at, instead of having three separate screens, is to have one yellow screen where we move them around and resize them. Okay, so there is a command in JavaScript and in AppLab, just what we need. And it takes 5 of these little white input boxes. The first one is the ID. So you'll see in a moment, it's called Image Captain, Captain America image. And then the next two, where it says 00 in the yellow, that is the XY coordinates of the image. And we'll see in a moment that is not the middle of the image, but the upper left of the image. And then 100, 100 is the width and height of the image. Okay. So when you go to design mode, you're going to get Captain America to the size you want, and then we're going to make note of the width, the height, and his X and Y. Okay, so there's a little intro. Let's go look at the activity. So here it is. Okay, so you can double click in the header and put your name in the period. Yeah. Okay, and October, say. All right. Now, all of us need to open the starter code, which is here from AppLab. It's going to pop open. So the screens are kind of done for us. So I'm going to try small. Notice nothing happens right now. Medium. So you might think there's no code. Well, let's look inside, view the code. And notice I do have some code, but there's some chunks missing, which are the important ones. Okay. So first off, let's remix this so you can code it yourself. So make sure you're signed into AppLab. And then you can rename it Image Resize. And I'm going to put demo here. Okay. And there we go. Okay, so I have that. Now, before we get too deep on this document that you're going to turn in, submit back through Canvas, there is this spot where you put your shared URL. Okay, so down here, so let me do that real quick. Let me go to share, click on this, and then right-click copy. And then go back to here, and I'm going to highlight this and Control V is paste, and I'm going to hit the space bar to turn it into a live link. So now there's a record that I've done this project. Okay, so let's take a look. What I'm going to do is, right now these 3 gray boxes are blank for the numbers, so I'm going to delete these and replace them with some numbers. Okay, so I'll delete those right now. All right, let's go take a look at the code. I'm going to close out that window. Okay. So let's look at these screen. This is my radio button small. This is my radio button medium and radio button large. So let me go ahead and call this RB small. Notice these gray pieces are comments. So they're meant for other human beings to read. The computer ignores them. Okay, RB medium. And this one's radio button large. Okay. And notice on the top it says, hey, when I hit this red button submit, check to see which one's checked. And notice these are radio buttons, so the user will only be able to check one. Okay, let's look at the other screen. This is the image I'm going to resize. So you're not going to resize this image home. Leave that guy alone. It's the image captain. Okay, and let's go to design mode. Okay, so if I click on image captain, notice his ID is image captain. And right now, we're going to use this for the large. His width is 320, his height is 395, and his XY location is 0, 0. Now, 0, 0 on a math graph is right in the middle. If you drag your mouse, look over here, the top left corner is actually 0, 0. So I get there. Yeah, you can see that. And then, so it goes, this upper left is 0, 0, and then it goes all the way to 320 on the X. And the Y, even though we're going down, it's positive 450. So basically, the screen is 320 by 450. So right now, let me click on Captain America. His upper left is right at 0, 0. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and use these numbers. So I'm going to get my screenshot tool. So I'm going to do Windows Shift S or Command Shift 4. So I'm going to grab this little piece. So I'm going to get, you want to make sure you get at least those 4 numbers. And then I'm going to, this is the large one, I'm going to paste it down here. So I do Control V, which is paste, and maybe shrink that a little bit. Okay, so notice his width is 320, his height is 395, and his XY is 0, 0. Okay, so now I'm going to code that. And I want to remind you, we got to be careful because in the gray box, it goes width, height, XY, but on the code, it goes XY with height. Okay, so let's get that set position piece. So let me go to code. Where's set position? Not set property, but oh, here it is, set position. So I'm going to grab this first one. Now, what's the name of this? This is image captain. Okay, and again, this is his X and Y. Okay, and I can float my mouse. That's how I got the screenshot. X and Y. Well, his upper left is at 0, 0, so I'm not going to change this. But let's remind ourselves, what was the width and height? 320 for the width and 395 for the height. So, by the way, when you're in these white bubbles, you can hit tab, 0, tab, 0, tab, 320 by 395. Okay. And I'm going to, in design mode, I'm going to, let me click in design mode. I can even shrink him and kind of distort and move him somewhere else. My code is going to move him right back to the beginning. So let's look at code and let me hit run. And I have coded the large one. Let me hit submit. And now nothing's happening because I'm on the home screen. I want to get to the other screen. Let's see. So that's screen home. I want to get to screen captain. So I forgot that I need a set screen. So set screen to screen captain. Okay, so let's see what that does. Let me run it again. And let me hit large and submit, and boom, there he is. And then I go back home. That's this button down here, screen home. And notice I'm back home. Okay, now I could put this set screen in all 3 of these, or think about this. If I put it at the bottom, what it's going to do first is check the 3 blues and see which one of these radio buttons is checked. And then no matter which one's checked, set the screen. So let me show you that works. So let me run it again. Let me click large because that's the only one I've coded. And there it is, nice and large. Choose again. Okay. And notice when I go back home, the large is still checked. So if you look at this last comment, uncheck the 3 radio buttons below. I want to add 3 of those set checked. The set checked to false. So let me grab 3 of these. True means checked. False means not checked. So false, false, and false. And what are the IDs? It's these radio buttons, RB small, RB medium, and RB large. Okay, so that is that. Let me run it again. Run. Let me try large. It should go to that screen again. Now when I choose again, notice when I go back home, nothing's checked. Okay, and by the way, with radio buttons, if this one were, let me show you, if this were true, you think small might be checked, but notice, well, it's still checked. Okay, so let's keep it as false. Okay, let's set them all to false. That's what we want. Okay, well, I guess what I was going to show you is if they're all true, 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 what happens is it sets this one to true, but only one can be checked. So it sets the medium to true, but only one can be checked, so the large is true. So let me just show you. Let me hit boom and see how large is still checked. That's why you want them all false. Okay, so false, false, false. All right, let's get a medium Captain America. So let's go to design mode and screen captain. Okay, so I want to get them like roughly a medium size. And notice if you drag one way or the other, it kind of distorts them. So get them looking about medium and drag them roughly to the center. Okay, so let's see. That's good enough. Okay, so now, by the way, when you drag it, you're going to have slightly different numbers in mind depending on what you decide. But I'm going to go with these. So 185, 210, that's the width and height. And the position, remember, position goes first, X 65, Y 90. Okay, so let me screenshot those for my report. So I'm going to get the 4 quantities and paste it for medium. Okay, and that is too big, so I'm going to shrink the corners down just so that fits on one page. And then I'm going to code this. So remember, X and Y goes first, 65, 90. So I'm going to code, set position. I'm doing medium. So again, it's the image captain. 65 tab 90. So by the way, that is the, let me click on them in design mode. That 6590 is this upper left corner. See how I'm roughly at 6590? That is the position of the upper left. So 6590. And then what was my 185 and 210 for the width and height? So I'm going to hit 185 tab 210. Okay, so that should be the medium one. Let me run it. So do large and submit. There he is, nice and giant, medium, and submit. Okay. And then finally, I'm going to let you finish this off. I want you to do, in design mode, go to screen captain and drag this corner and get them nice and small, whatever you decide, and roughly center them. So this person might be 75, 80, 115, and 160. And then paste it here for the small. And in code, drag in your last piece for this gap on line 4 and fill in the numbers that correspond to this guy's size and position. Okay, and then it should work. And again, you're not turning in the link. You will go back to Canvas and submit this document. So let's see, before you turn it in, make sure your name's in the heading. Make sure you paste it in your remix URL, the one you've been working on. Don't forget this last gray box. And finally, tell me what you thought about, instead of using 3 screens, moving them around and resizing them. Okay, so again, you're going to finish this up and go back to Canvas and hit submit. All right, this is Mr. Hicks for activity 2.03. It's time to shut up and code.